gonna get in touch with my feminine side. It's a sexy getting ready song. The sexy getting ready song. Primping and plucking, brushing and rubbing. The sexy getting ready song.
Now we're recording. Now everything on my side is recording. And now everything I say is legally binding.
I mean, I have it on my side too, so.
Damn it!
Hi, sir.
Meow meow.
Do you want to join the pod?
I would love a cat's perspective. I would love two cats to weigh in on...
I would like the cats to weigh in on cat.
Am I right, folks? You know, because there's all those, I don't know, I'm not going to say debates, but, various bits of scientific evidence that, like, cats don't see us as a different species. They just think we're bad at being cats. I would be very curious to know what they think of the movie Cats. I want to know their read on that.
They'll be like closer, but also worse somehow.
Closer, but also way further. It is neither cat nor man any longer. It is merely Skimble Shanks, which of course I also did too many episodes of a podcast about a full calendar day's worth of talking about the musical Cats. And that's what I decided to do with my life.
The way that I'm holding this cat right now is probably how other humans feel holding a baby.
A baby, yeah. It looks like you are swaddling, the baby Christ or something.
I'm living in this kitten's world. I'm lost in its paws. But I don't feel this way holding babies. I'm like, no. Keep that
none
away.
of this. Put that back. It's not done. Bring it to me when it's fully cooked.
Truly, once it's potty trained, then we'll talk.
Stick it back in the oven, but until it can control its bladder, I'm out. Lates. Why does no one account for the idea that the baby might have bad vibes? Okay? Maybe the baby has bad vibes, and I think a parent is perfectly within their rights to abandon a child with bad vibes until they get good vibes again.
Yeah, I think a lot of horror movies would be...
That's true. Lot of horror movie babies with bad vibes. You're absolutely right.
Like, if it was more socially acceptable to, leave bad vibe babies, we'd have a lot less horror movies.
Yeah, horror would... I mean, you'd have to... The Shining, that would never happen. The Omen, that would never happen. Brahms, the Conjuring spinoff. No Brahms. We're a Brahmsless world.
Even.
Sixth Sense, even. That child... Terrible vibes. He's not a bad kid, but his energy is wrong. His aura is wretched. His aura is red, which is
Not his fault.
That's a little Sixth Sense reference for all you out there.
It's not his fault, but yeah, I would give it back.
If I had the Sixth Sense child, it's going back. It's being returned to sender. The Sixth Sense child.
My mom would playfully as you can say that she was going to return us sometimes.
Sell you to the circus was, I'm sorry, my father, who's no longer
R.I.P.
with us, always threatened to, quote unquote, sell us to the gypsies. That was his big maneuver. He was ready to do that.
Are you going to include that in the eulogy?
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad I don't have to do a eulogy and no one has asked me to. Because, I hope you're ready for my dad's upcoming funeral to be chock full of bits.
Your type 5.
My type 5 about my dead dad.
Have you seen that BoJack Horseman? It'll be like that, but tighter. In 5 minutes. Yeah,
because that was like a 35-minute monologue. I'm again a tight 5 about it's gonna be like Dimitri Martin props and graph based comedy as well. It's elaborate is what I'm looking at.
I would like to see this. I would like to see on YouTube.com your preferred eulogy, just in case you don't get to do it. I did something similar. I wrote a short film that I started confusing with reality after I did it. So I can't fully endorse this, but I made a short film in undergrad. It was my first screenplay. The week that my evil grandmother went into hospice, and to cope, I made a fan fiction about if my grandfather came out as gay, like right after the funeral and fell in love with his music director of Guys and Dolls. But unfortunately, I turned in that essay, or I turned in that screenplay, the week that she went into hospice and then passed away. And then I got it graded right before the funeral, and there were some not nice comments about the grandmother character in my screenplay.
Wow.
And I felt really bad because it was like a barely deceased person getting just roasted in my fiction.
Just get fucking eviscerated.
So it was like, in one way it was helpful for coping, and then in the other hand it was morally confusing, I will say. Not
Absolutely.
good or bad, but
this
puzzling.
old lady sucks. Like I wish I want this character to die. And you're like,
she was called I don't know if how many curse words you can use on your, I don't know if the
Infinite.
What is it, the FCC? Is this the radio? But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure my professor was drunk while grading it because he called her a cunt, and it became more and more just like unhinged as the notes went on. So I had a feeling that he drunk graded it.
I had a feeling. Yeah, after my this dead relative hour to start the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend podcast, my dad passed away in early December, and I like started working on a script about a guy who was like trying to resurrect his dead dad to like tell him off, to like to yell at him in a way he never did. And every time I told people I was working on that, the looks that I received in response to saying that I was working on that screenplay, I cannot describe them. People like falling over themselves to like try and not react, and it just looked like they were imploding. Like it looked like they were collapsing in on themselves. It was great.
That's fantastic.
It's a good bit.
I love fiction for that reason.
Yeah, fiction it's so fun to explore, play in these spaces that don't exist, but feel real. Like the guy that wants to resurrect his dad. Let's start a podcast.
Let's do it.
Because this is the podcast getting ready song. This is the podcast getting ready song. This is the podcast getting ready song. Podcasting is really hard. It's not hard. It's actually very easy. It's very easy to do. Scheduling is the hardest part of a podcast, and then editing. And those are actually tied. Those are the twin dragons. Scheduling and editing. Doing a podcast is easy.
Yeah.
This is Crazy X Pod Friends. To clarify about the title, we are still friends, but we did used to have a pod. So we are X Pod Friends. But now we might, this is a quest. This is our quest to once again be pod friends. I am TV's Kevin Lanigan, whose Patreon this is hosted on, and joining me for the inaugural episode of this show, Wyatt's Cat Scott.
Hello. What's up, you guys? It's Cat Scott. I use they them pronouns, and I am a creator, and we'll just leave it at that.
Wow. Creator,
right now
a molder, a shaper.
Right now I'm trying to fight off the shame of getting an 80% on this media law midterm. I cannot seem to shake it from my brain. I'm like embarrassed to show up for class. I studied for a week. I will say that the wording was super fucking confusing and they wouldn't give me partial credit. So I'm trying to let that go and drop into the universe of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I'm in grad school. Kevin and I met when you had just graduated, actually, right?
Yeah, like, I was making my web series in the follow-up of my graduating college. Yes. Wow,
that's wild. And then I went to that college, and then many things happened.
A lot of other things happened. A lot of events on a timeline. Yes, absolutely, and that is the station at which we find ourselves. And in that post-grad, as I met you doing that particular web series, we became friends. We started talking about show tunes on the radio, and also a show entered both of our lives, and that show was called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about our mutual shared history with this show before we dive into the first 2 episodes. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend comes along in late 2015.
Wow.
And I think I caught, yeah, so like the year I graduated from college, right? Like a few months after I graduated from college. And luckily enough for me, you know, my favorite show, Community, had just ended. And Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was nice enough to come along and be like, hey, I'm your new favorite show. I'm your favorite show on the air now. And I said, thank you.
So are you making content in the order that it was your favorite show? Because
no,
you just
in
did
order,
a community podcast.
No. In order for that to have been the case, I would have had to have done a Lost podcast previous to the Community podcast.
It's not too late. It's such an anachronistic piece already that you could just do Lost later.
It's gonna happen at some
point.
Form. Right, and it's non-sequential narrative, and it's use of flashback structure. Yeah, we'll pretend the whole podcast is a flashback. It's taking place in the past, before the Community podcast. But the show came along, and then I remember introducing it to you, and we started watching. Yeah, you're welcome. I think like the AV Club or Vox or something. Like I caught on to it like halfway through the first season, and then you and I started watching some episodes together. Specifically, I remember the one with The Rock, where she sings the song "You Stupid Bitch." I remember watching that one with you very specifically because we were both very stressed out. It was a very stressful half hour of television.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. I know that I came into. It's nice. I don't remember any of the songs. Maybe I think I remember one bisexual song.
Sure. Famous song.
I remember being really like pleased when I got which musical or like thing that it was referencing. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to experience that again. But yeah, I guess if I started it in 2015, that was like in my last year of drug and alcohol use. So it makes sense that I remember so little.
Very little of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, right? But
I know that I came into Rebecca's life. No, she came into my life. I remember watching one of her YouTube videos. I steal pets from the popular people and then dress the pets up like the popular people. I steal pets from the popular people and hide them all in a shed. Yeah. And
good song. It's a pop. It was a banger.
Like having someone have the same weird mind that like needs to make songs out of weird fucked up things that happen. Like I don't know, there's lots of us out there that like when bad shit happens, you just sort of start humming your own little weird melody on the fly about what's going on. Absolutely. And to see like huge productions of that in a produced and smart way was very fulfilling. I also enjoyed watching like the mental health narrative arc. I do remember that she gets like diagnosed with later in the series, and it's fun knowing that and watching the pilot and the second episode. It is fulfilling.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm mostly excited to like relive like that guy from Frozen singing stuff.
Oh, it's great. He does sing some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and we haven't met one of my favorite characters yet, the Aubrey Plaza of the show.
Indeed. Big Aubrey Plaza energy. I think she comes in the next episode. If my recent COVID binge of this show is any indication. Because I never, the first time I watched it, I never finished it. I cannot explain why. I just like had fallen off of all television shows, and the 4th season was coming out, and I watched the first few episodes and I was like, I don't remember the 3rd season very well at all. Like I and then I spent too long, and then I had to wait, and then I put it up for the Media Madness tournament that we just did for Advanced Media Studies, and I was like really pushing for this show to win. I was pulling music video clips, and I was bringing in the actors to get them retweets. Donalyn Champlin, was all over it. And we ended up losing, and my heart was broken. And then I tested positive for COVID, and it really like laid me down I had it was a real motherfucker case of COVID, and essentially,
Wait, can you describe what COVID is for me? Because I know in 2015 we didn't have
COVID.
You know what you're describing. Yeah. What is
back in your
this?
MC? So you are from 2015, and I am in the good, perfect.
I'm just trying to get my head back there because I just also connected the dots. One reason that I might not remember a lot is because I was still straight, so I was watching the show through this like straight lens of like, oh, I have a huge crush on white Josh who's gay, and I have a girl like the girl crush thing was fun to watch. Now being really gay, there's just I'm realizing as I'm speaking that
the show hits at a lot of levels.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm watching it being gay and being a sober alcoholic, because I know a character gets sober as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this is gonna hit in some very emotional places. So I hope you're ready. I rock and roll. But anyway, in my COVID state, I watched all 4 seasons in 4 days because I was incapable of doing anything else.
COVID sounds bad.
COVID was not fun. Would not recommend getting it. But I did, I went and stayed at the hotel program. They brought me 3 square meals a day, and literally all I did for 4 days was watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And would recommend that experience, watching a lot of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Good show. And then I messaged my friend Kat, and I was like, hey, I remember watching this show with you. And Kat said, podcast? And I said, like, well, I can't resist that particular carrot on a stick. I've never said no to that before in my life. And
Damn,
now we're
I forgot
here.
that was my suggestion.
This was
here
you.
I was sitting here
fault.
being like, oh yay, I was invited to another podcast, and now I'm like, oh wait, I brought this on.
You're the architect. You're the architect. This is this is your fault. You are the maker of your own. This is a true Greek tragedy. You are the cause of your own downfall.
Much like my media law midterm that I didn't think about for 10 minutes.
Hey, congratulations, new record. 80%, if it's anything like the media law midterms that I took, that 80% is a good grade.
It was worded so weird. I studied so hard, and the things that I missed wasn't because I didn't know which case it was referring to. It's because it felt like it was subjective, and there was no answer that felt not subjective. And I was like, can I write my answers for partial credit? And they were like, no. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Back to you, because we are not talking about this anymore.
That's okay. No, and this we will slowly. This is actually a serial style podcast where we'll learn steadily more and more about your media law midterm over the course of the show. And I think Adnan did it. I think Adnan wrote the media law midterm. I am determined to catapult everyone back to 2015 by now referencing the podcast Serial. I'm taking us all back to when
Trump
this show
hasn't been elected yet. I was straight. I was a straight girl. And
we all had Serial fever.
I lived in Missouri. Well, we've come a long way.
Yeah, we've come a long way, baby. And we're rocking and rolling, but let's start talking about the actual show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Sure.
Little behind the scenes visit. The show is co-created by Rachel Bloom, who plays Rebecca Bunch on the show, and Aline Brosh McKenna, who's probably still best known outside of this show as the writer of the Devil Wears Prada screenplay for the film Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Aline saw some of Rebecca's produced music videos and was like, this person should have a show. And they ended up writing a pilot, sold the pilot to Showtime, started co-writing the songs. Jack Dolgan is the co-screenwriter or co-lyricist, and Adam Schlesinger from R.I.P. From Fountains of Wayne was the composer for the songs. And they produce a 30-minute pilot for Showtime, and Showtime decides to not pick it up.
That is so stupid.
Dumbass. And so stupid ass Showtime. So they
you can hear me Googling Fountains of Wayne to remember which song. Stacy's mom. Damn.
Is going up.
Wow.
Yeah, Stacy's mom.
That makes so much sense.
Composed all the music.
Wow.
And the music for this show is unstoppably great the entire time. You know, like it's and so varied, and they cover so many different genres and styles. It's incredible work that, again, sadly taken from us. Adam Schlesinger did truly genius work on this show, but they shop it around to every cable network. Every cable network says no, and then eventually they end up at the fucking CW before the CW became just DC superhero shows and Riverdale. Before it was that, it did have other shows, and they sold this one, but they're like, we don't do 30 minutes, we do hours, so film some more shit. And they were like, okay. And there you go. And that's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Had to cut some stuff for time, and content, notably a depressing hand job and a topless woman were both cut from this pilot, according to Rachel Bloom's book that I just read in like 2 days.
Oh, I need to read that. That
It's
is
a
somewhere
really
in my
good.
home.
It's a really good read. I'm not going to read the entire process of the show getting picked up by the CW, but it's fascinating, and it happens in like 6 months less time than it normally would happen. You know, like it happened over the course of like a couple days as opposed to a couple months. Wild shit.
Does she have?
No. She has depression and anxiety.
Heard of it.
And talks about it a lot in the book. Oh, and obsessive compulsive disorder. And that's the big one. And I was wondering in reading the book, I'm like, how similar are Rachel Bloom and Rebecca Bunch? Really, you know, they share the same initials. Obviously, this is a character that comes from like a personal place, but it's not. The two characters do not share much in the way of biographical details.
Okay.
They are not similar in that way. It seems like a much healthier relationship with Rachel's parents than Rebecca's parents end up being over the course of the show. They suffer from different things. You know, Rachel went to Tisch to study musical theater. It was not ever a lawyer or anything like that. But that's some background info for you. And let's dive into this first episode, season 1, episode 1. Josh just happens to live here. Directed by Mark Webb, who folks might remember as the director of 500 Days of Summer and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. He did those, brought in a thing that happens pretty regularly in pilots now, where they get like a famous person to direct the first episode, and then that famous person does not have anything else to do with the rest of the show.
It's kind of like the season 1 showrunner thing, right? Like the showrunner, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Killing Eve, and J.J. Abrams' most projects, and I'm guessing
J.J. loves
Rhimes.
to dip. Yeah, J.J. loves to dip, and Shonda is not. And I have nothing but love and respect for Shonda Rhimes. Shonda is not in 4 different writers' rooms every day, working on Scandal or Bridgerton.
Ryan Murphy is one, and back to J.J. Abrams for 1 second. That's because you referenced Lost,
which he leaves within a few episodes to go direct like Mission Impossible 3. He is out extraordinarily quickly on Lost.
So he has a daughter, and she's very sad, and she makes indie sad girl bedroom pop music. So if you ever want to explore that, there is an Abrams out there that my sibling really likes.
Wow. Both musical, because J.J. Abrams was briefly a film composer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's of course the composer for Night Beast, and that's his most famous job to date, is as the composer of Night Beast.
I don't know Night Beast.
No, of course you don't. No one knows Night Beast, but I know it as the movie that J.J. Abrams is the credited composer on, and that is no Force Awakens. Who? Alias what? Oh, he's the composer of Night Beast. And that is how we'll always know him. The episode is co-written by Rachel Bloom and Aline Brosh McKenna. In this episode, we meet Rebecca Bunch, a insecure but high-powered New York lawyer who has essentially a nervous breakdown, and at that same time encounters her brief summer camp boyfriend, Joshua Felix Chan, and makes the rash decision to move to West Covina, California. and we meet the whole supporting cast. Well, almost all the supporting cast. We meet Paula, we meet Greg, we meet Daryl, and the show is off to the fucking races. There's a terrible house party. There's a lot going on in this episode, and multiple musical numbers.
Absolutely. Can you remind me what pretzels are about?
What do you mean, what are pretzels about?
There's like many different pretzels in the pilot, and I don't remember. I think I missed the first pretzel to understand the rolling pretzel imagery.
I also did not pick up on a specific reason why there are so many pretzels. Perhaps if I were to go to West Covina's website, perhaps they are known for their pretzels or something to that effect. But I am also unsure why there are so many pretzels.
Because it reminds me of the banana stand of Arrested Development, and I do know that Balboa is famous for their chocolate-covered bananas.
Sure.
So a quick Google. West Covina pretzels. Someone has looked it up before.
Many people have been like, what is going on with the giant pretzel that she floats away on at the end of the first song? The first song that is not from South Pacific.
There is a web exclusive featuring the cast called Soft Pretzels.
Fun.
I think pretzels come up a few times. And then in season 4...
we'll have to keep our eyes open for why the pretzel is so significant over the course. Her life is tied in knots. She's gone from bagels to pretzels, a different hard salted bread. On the East Coast, we have bagels. On the West Coast, they have pretzels, and that is now a stereotype that I'm developing. Anytime one of my New York comedy friends is like, "I'm moving to Los Angeles," and be like, "Oh, for the pretzels." It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love it. Everyone's gonna love my new running bit, and it's gonna be good. But I think the show does a really remarkable job in the first act of like laying all of the track to get Rebecca out to West Covina in 10 minutes. I feel like if this show had been made for Netflix, she would not go to West Covina until the end of the pilot, at least. But this being produced for regular TV, they're 10-minute. We need a pilot is supposed to be the premise of the show, not set up for the premise of the show. So she goes to West Covina, California, and it's done in a big musical number. What, in your mind, are the musical references of this opening number? Because I've never been able to pin down exactly what it's a play on.
So one of them was the Getting Ready song in the first one.
Well, I'm talking specifically of just the West Covina musical number, where talking about the only one that ever hits me is it kind of reminds me of the Provincial Life song from Beauty and the Beast. That is the one that it rings a little bell like that for me.
I see that. Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be the big music man entering the town, the big singing in the rain, gotta dance, the big studio Hollywoody. But the joke is it's not Hollywood, it's West Covina. It's in California. It's tangential to Hollywood. Very I think maybe that's the joke.
Okay. Sure. The big
hopefully.
It would be an I'm arriving in Hollywood number, but it's an I'm arriving in West Covina number.
$2, two bags, one me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just 2 hours from the beach with traffic. And because that's really, because I think there are other numbers in the show that have a much more direct reference that they were a play on, but I've just never been able to exactly. So it's sort of just a general ingenue, maybe an I Want song, but it's denying itself being an I Want song, where it's she keeps almost saying she's arriving for Josh, but she is replacing Josh with West Covina. It's very clever. Good lyricism, I will say.
So fun. Yeah, that is so fun. And I just love the setup of Paula. By
She's
the time
so
I was watching later seasons, I kind of probably lost how it all started, and the way they introduce her and her, just her comedic, it just is such a great well-developed comedic character because like it, I don't know, it throws me back to like acting classes and study, which I don't think about anymore, but she's just such a good, I think, textbook case of someone who like has an objective, really leans into her reality, is like a satire queen, like would thrive in like a Portlandia setting, like just like really
Totally
about her her thing, and her thing is really extreme, but you're like with her. And I think like what a great like counterpart to Rebecca.
Absolutely. It's a great play on a you know, in a romantic comedy, this is the funny best friend who does nothing but comment on the main character's relationship. And it's not that, like, obviously Paula gets very invested in the Rebecca and Josh relationship, but it manifests in a way you've never fully seen before, where she is capable of like dark and terrible things in pursuit of this relationship that she's overly invested in.
And I just love that it's like this is giving her energy. I don't know, I relate to this when I'm going through like depression or something similar to her, where she's like, I'm just so bored and so unhappy.
My life
like,
is so empty.
And I have like ADHD and I need to hyperfocus on something.
And so I
like,
need some hot goss to hyperfocus on.
Yeah, like I feel like I get this energy towards my friends sometimes, and I always have to pull back, where I'm like, tell me about your boyfriend, everything about it. Let's read every text, show me every like, you're upset, I'm upset for you, let's kill him. I accidentally fell into that. I actually went on a Paula spree like a month ago, where my friend was going through a breakup, and she was also going through a justifiably hard time, and the breakup was really fucked given the circumstances. But I definitely took it to the extreme, where I was posting like, I'm going on a trip to kill this person's ex, I'm going to fly all the way to St. Louis to commit murder, will someone be my alibi? And like, looking back, like, should this man die by any unnatural causes, like, I'm suspect number one now, because I put it all over Instagram. Yeah. And but I pulled a full Paula. I like got like my Southwest points together. I got a ticket to St. Louis. I flew there, and I pulled a whole like, I'm like babysitting this best friend for 3 days and just letting them spiral. And so maybe that's why I'm particularly attached to Paula now, is because like I did that.
You see something of yourself in Paula. Right, and Paula's a wonderful character, and played by the great Donna Lynn Champlin, a Broadway baby in her own right.
Can you tell me her Broadway, like
the bona fides? The one that I am aware of, she was Pirelli in the Michael Cervais production of Sweeney Todd, which is what I am. And not to attribute credits to her, but she was also Renee Elise Goldsberry's college roommate, which is again keeping it sort of in the Hamilton world. And that is it. But I don't have what is the Broadway equivalent of IMDb? It's like Internet Broadway Database or something.
I think it's IBDB, and it's never been really well taken
no,
care of.
It's not maintained. It's, if you think IMDb is a lawless wasteland, I mean, God help you with IBDB.
Renee is 51. Whoa, that is wild.
That's something.
Girls Fight Over is really good, by the way. If you're missing if you're missing the energy of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, you can in the one season of Girls Fight Over using Kevin Lanigan's Peacock Plus account.
I'm glad the Peacock Plus is going to good use. Yeah, Sweeney Todd up on there. Billy Elliot, she was in for 4 years. Billy Elliot. So there you go. So them's them bona fides. And so she's an excellent performer, an excellent singer, and we get a little taste of that in these episodes, but it's only going to get bigger and more so from here on. Let's see what else. We meet Daryl in the sequence as well. Daryl, they lean really hard into the like offensive white guy thing here out of the gate, and I'm glad that is something that they lean away from pretty quickly. We steer into a different, like, skid with Daryl coming up. Pete Gardner, great as Daryl. Originally, the role was cast for Michael McDonald, which would have been interesting, but would have been a completely different character over the course of the show.
So nice that, like, everyone can hear me Google every reference that Kevin makes.
Yeah, it's not the Michael McDonald that will show up first. You need to type in something like Michael McDonald Mad TV, and that will give you the correct guy. That will give you the guy that it actually is.
Very different. Yeah,
he's the guy who gets run over by the steamroller in the first Austin Powers movie.
Oh my God.
Does that help you?
Leprechaun 2, the year I was born.
Leprechaun 2 was just in Halloween Kills, so the only person to be killed by both Mike Myers and Michael Myers. A good actor, a good he's a good director. He's a talented gentleman. One of the best people.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, just one of the best people to ever come off of Mad TV. A bad show that did have a lot of good talent pass through it. See also Key and Peele.
Wow, he really did it in the 90s. What do you think Mike Myers is doing right now? Not the murderer, but the man.
I saw him in some stuff recently. Well, honestly, the thing I've seen him in most recently, there's a lot of I want to say it's for, like, General Motors, and he's, like, bringing back Dr. Evil for, like, General Motors commercials. He just did Wayne's World for, like, Uber Eats. So he's doing a lot of, like, I'm bringing back my classic characters to sell advertisements. And everyone's got bills to pay, but I would love someone like a Paul Thomas Anderson, or even, the dreaded Quentin Tarantino, to, like, get this guy back on screen in, like, a good way. I would love to see Mike Myers again. I want to see him back on my screen. I love him.
So he's actually, like, fine and can do whatever he wants, because he made $3 million for Shrek, $10 million for Shrek 2, and $15 million for 3 and 4.
I do forget that he is Shrek, and has honestly been consistently working as Shrek in all the specials and thing. I do forget sometimes that he is the big ogre called Shrek.
It doesn't even show, like, the specials on this MikeMyersNetworth.com.
Right, so they're not talking about, like, Shrek Spooky Halloween or whatever. Like, they're not even chucking that up. So there you go. So Mike Myers is doing fine. I would like to see him, like, do acting again. I saw him in a terrible Margot Robbie movie that also had, like, Simon Pegg in it, called Terminal. One of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen, but it was like Margot Robbie, Mike Myers, Simon Pegg. I will watch this film all the way through. I simply must. I regret nothing. And we also meet, of course, Greg, a character that I love. Thank you. Greg, played by Santino Fontana, from a little movie called Frozen. Also, I want to say Tootsie on Broadway. A lot of Broadway bona fides across this entire cast here.
That's so disappointing.
Isn't it? It's a little. It's not great. Don't know what to tell you.
No, yeah, there's nothing more to say on the matter.
And we will never mention him again across the entire book. We will not mention Santino Fontana.
No, we can talk about him, because I'm just going to pretend, much like I would probably talk about some of Johnny Depp's work right now. I can't entirely separate this from the art, but I guess I can talk about the characters. So I definitely want to talk about Greg.
Sure. I love Greg. It fits into a television archetype that apparently I respond to very strongly. The acerbic male bartender character, the Nick Miller from TV's New Girl. That I have always glommed onto Greg for reasons that I cannot fully understand or articulate. But I love him. He's my handsome boy. He's my handsome Italian boy.
I want to see you in that kind of role before I die.
I would too.
On
I would
television.
honestly. I
on
would
network
like to
television.
see me in that role as well. Thank you. Well, let's make it happen. Let's manifest.
Actually, no,
Um,
more like streaming. I don't actually need to see you on like CW or ABC. Like, I don't watch
sure.
cable.
I mean, I would love
Um,
that paycheck though. For,
no,
like,
but like
the
I could see you at like Netflix or like
sure
Hulu,
would
or
take it.
actually more than anything at HBO because I'm an HBO hoe for life.
Yeah, absolutely. We stand. We stand HBO, and its many fine products. I'm currently working my way through Secession. Good show.
Oh my God. That is my shared language for my family trauma. Whenever anybody watches Succession, I'm like, I can finally talk about my family with you.
You can finally understand. Knowing that, I will say I'm so fucking sorry. That's so terrible.
I mean, you know,
I
a bit.
know, I do
Here
know.
and there about
I do know.
my sordid villain origin story, but
Mhm.
yeah, it does remind me of Succession in a lot of ways.
I was also
On a
just
very
watching.
micro scale.
Yeah.
So that is nice. It's nice to see something like like an opera of your life
Sure.
where you're like, this is an extreme version. I have the same feelings, but it's
But it's
not nearly the same
emotionally right.
stakes.
Exactly. Which fiction is liable to do. It's not my exact experience, but it feels real. I was on HBO Max before logging on to this Skype call. I was watching the original Gossip Girl.
Thank you for being honest.
I would never lie about watching Gossip Girl. I've done it for many years. I watched it when it was originally on too.
I also have watched the HBO new Gossip Girl, and I'm
How
up
is
to
it?
date, I believe.
How is it? Is it anything?
Where are you in it?
I have not watched the original. I've not watched the new one. I've watched the original one. That's the one I was watching. Was the Blake Lively, the Leighton Meester, the Penn Badgley.
Oh, I want to go back there. That'll
You
bring
should
me
go
into
back.
some
It's fucking
seventh grade
good.
buried childhood memories. What?
It's fucking good. It's fucking juicy. It holds up. It's really strong. It's good shit. It's good TV. You're like, oh, what are these teens gonna get up to next? If you want a show that'll make you go like, come on, like twice an episode, Gossip Girl.
Perfect.
Perfect. A perfect show. Exactly.
So we meet Greg. I actually took a screen cap because I was talking about how I've been through 3 like identical breakups in the last 6 months. That like the arc was exactly the same. It was basically like hero's journey or like television show or like I made a playlist about it called Copy Paste Transmasc Non-Binary Person Here. And it's just songs to get over the same situation over and over and over and over. And I was kind of talking partially about that because there's a lot to say with someone. And the clip, wait, let me find it. The clip where Greg is talking to Rebecca for the first time. And I wonder if the audio will play. You're pretty, you're smart, and you're ignoring me, so you're obviously my type.
I love it. It's a good line. It's a good bit. And that's the good high quality level headed stuff that Greg's gonna keep giving you. Greg Serrano is gonna keep serving that up on a fine silver platter over the course of his tenure on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And it's good. And Rebecca makes a series of terrible decisions, as I'm sure, but this will be the last of her terrible decisions, right? She's not going to keep making bad and rash decisions over the. No.
Yeah, it's TV.
You don't think? No, she's gonna be fixed. She's good after these two. I can feel it. And the parties. I love the sort of weird montage of them kind of like making out all over the party as she's like scoping out Josh.
Oh, that was so weird. That whole scene was painful to watch.
Very strange. It's very
and his kind of Jim to camera, never fully to camera, but his sort of consistent awareness. I do feel like it was a little almost too played out, but yeah, it was all about Greg's reactions in that, and then that's probably where the hand job was cut out.
I feel like it has to have been, right? Especially because he does like tuck his dick back in at the end of the scene. There are like things on this show that I am surprised that they got away with on the CW television network. And this is some of the first of them. And yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, I think the obvious standout of this first episode, the thing that certainly, when I was first watching it, locked me onto this show as something I was going to keep watching, is the Sexy Getting Ready song.
I like it too.
It's a good fucking song. It's a good jam. Rachel Bloom talks about in her book, because she had this popular YouTube video, "Fuck Me Ray Bradbury," where she did the Britney Spears like schoolgirl dance look, and she became furious because people in the comments were like actually being horny. So she vowed from that moment forth, in songs where things are kind of sexy, she would always include a boner killer in the song. As she described, like, I want to make sure no one is fully turned on by this. I will put a boner killer in there. And in this song, it simply has to be when she's waxing her asshole and like sprays blood all over the tub. Again, cannot believe they're getting away with this on the CW, the network that airs The Flash.
I did something similar in theater camp, where I would like tempt boys in with like, "Do you want to watch me eat a banana?" And I did this like with my friend Nitty, and and I was like, "Nitty doesn't have a gag reflex. Want to watch us?" And like Nitty would like deep throat it, and then I would like start to swallow it, and then I would just like gnash it with my teeth, just like gnaw it, and like all the boys watching me would like go, "Oh my god," and like grab their crotch. And then all the guys watching her would like, it would take them a second to like see what was happening.
That's a good bit.
It was a good bit. I know. Maybe I
bit.
peaked when I was 16, honestly.
Your creative peak. Yeah, goddamn, God bless. And
but that's my boner killer reference of the day. You'll get one every time. We'll make a little noise. Wow, wow, wow.
It'll be like, something like that. I gotta unlock like the Hanna-Barbera sound effects library or something.
Boomerang. Yeah.
Or the fucking, a slide, like a slide whistle.
I like the as if like the boner comes back up.
It goes like back inside your body. Everyone's penis doesn't hide inside their body until it's time. It doesn't like.
So fun fact for the audience, while there's a little pause in the moment, that, oh, now I'm regretting. No, I'm not. I'm going to go for it. So when you go on testosterone as someone who is assigned female at birth, that you get something called an enlarged, it's not called that, but you get an enlarged clitoris, and it also gets a little boner. And it is so funny. That little guy. Seen that little guy doing its little thing? It's like watching like a...
Oh, you think it's like when a kid pretends to be an adult? It's like when a kid like puts on dad's suit and briefcase, is like, "I'm going to the office."
Yeah, and I do think I'm developing like a small penis complex. I'm like, I want a huge motorcycle. I want a monster truck. Like, I have tiny hands and a tiny dick now. What can I do to overcompensate?
I want a hog. Yeah, exactly. What can I do? And it's your time to overcompensate. It's your time to buy like a fucking sports car. It's your time to start wearing garish patterned shirts. It's your time. It's your time.
I already been doing that for years.
Yeah, you're fucking
so I'm on my way. Okay, so boners.
Let's talk about the next epi. Season 1, episode 2, Josh's Girlfriend, is really cool. Directed by Don Scardino, again written by Rachel Bloom and Aline Broche McKenna. In this episode, we are introduced to Valencia, Josh's really cool, really hot girlfriend who is really good at yoga. And Rebecca makes the questionable decision of trying to get close to Valencia, and surprise, surprise, ends up fucking the whole thing up. I mean, did you see this coming? I didn't see this coming.
I didn't see the means in which she conducted herself. Like I I guess I don't remember this season vividly because of drug addiction or something. But
who can say?
But she I didn't remember this first, especially girl crush. Like that is fun to watch as a gay person. There's a lot of fun
Sure.
reversals and things happening in there. That's very like I Kissed a Girl, right? And like
Oh, Feeling Kind of Naughty, the
Yeah.
song that she sings, is definitely I Kissed a Girl. Like, there's similar, like, shot compositions and shit.
Yeah.
It's playing off that, like, I feel a little gay, but not so gay that it, like, offends you. You know, like, it's that era of of pop. And no, it's absolutely in there. And love a reference to Behind the Candelabra, the Liberace TV movie.
oh, that was so funny and random. Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck it.
It's
fucking
fun.
great.
It's kind of like 30 Rock in that way, where you're like, I gotta really pay attention because they're gonna throw a lot of references at you. So like,
It's gonna be a lot
get
of
ready.
jokes per minute, or a lot of like complex things per minute in every song that like really rewards like a repeat viewing.
Oh wait, I have a question about first episode. I must have been not
Yes.
paying close enough attention, but the end was so funny, and I don't remember.
When like the stars spell Josh, and then they're like, "We're gonna get him, Rebecca."
Oh no, wait, maybe I'm thinking of. No. So I like the buttons at the end of these.
Oh,
Like
with
the Vampire Weekend one,
Nipsey
and then like the
Hussle?
rapper
Yeah.
one where he apologizes to each woman.
the
Oh my
ladies.
god, that was like one of my favorite bits
That's
I've
very
seen in a
funny.
long time. And for that just to be the button, I'm like, wow, like Community did this, but I think this is doing it better so far. Like the two, for sure.
They're very strong. They're very good. And yeah, that's the rapper is Nipsey Hussle playing himself. And it's great. And it rules. But this episode, so there's a comic series that I love that I was reading recently, a very gay action sci-fi comedy series
Fun
called,
Home.
called Crowded. Yeah, Fun Home, my favorite sci-fi action comedy. Fun Home. Bechdel really tells a great action story. The kineticism of Alison Bechdel's art is unparalleled. No, it's
Wait
called
till you hear what the Bechdel test is. It's
Oh, it's wild.
galactic. Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
It's
What you
okay.
were-
But it's called Crowded. And it's a great book. And in the book, a character said something I've never heard like fully articulated before. Where she says like the straights don't really have this problem, but often in the queer community, when you're fascinated by someone, you're not sure if you want to be with them or you want to
Want to
be
fuck
them. If you want to become
you want to fuck them or be them. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, wow, that's like a really like kind of profound thing as Rebecca attempts to like a single white female Valencia a little bit. And it's good. And then Valencia does her own like Bollywood number.
Okay,
Which
question.
is
Yeah, I have
Gabrielle
questions.
Ruiz Indian?
Yeah, I was gonna Google it because I was like, I don't think this would happen today because I feel like people are a lot more careful about like not being like, oh, you have a different skin tone. We're gonna have you play a different ethnicity.
Any brown person, right? I think, and I'm not. This might sound weird. It is very hard to look this up. It is often very
Mexican.
difficult.
She
She's
is-
Mexican, so she's
both
not
parents are
Indian
Mexican.
in any way.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
which
then,
they reference her being like Latina in different
They
ways.
do, but someone could be both. You know, like it that's not impossible. But yeah, she definitely is not. And I think even how society has grown that even 7 years later, I think we'd think twice about doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fun number, and like there's something about the camera or the color grading on that particular number that's like really. I'm like, did they just get a much better camera for this one musical number? Because every time they're like cutting back, I know it's like an intentional like back and forth every time they're cutting back to Rebecca like doing yoga, but I'm like, this feels like you got a much better shooting setup for like this one musical number.
It was
Maybe
really
I'm wild.
pretty. I agree.
It's really good looking. It's color graded really well. Like it's a good looking sequence, but it is also a little racially questionable, I will say.
Yeah, it's always hard when something happens because it takes me out, and then I sort of like disassociate and can't really like fully be in it. And then when I do laugh, I'm like, shouldn't this have been cut? So that was like kind of where I was. When you think something could be cut and you're like trying to enjoy it, and you're like, I don't know if I can really lean
Once
in.
you get into your
as they say.
meta lens, it is unfortunately like, well, now I'm not getting back. It's going to take me a little while to get re-immersed in the fiction.
Yeah, like Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter, 100%.
Like Harry
I still haven't touched it in this pandemic, which is surprising because if you had told me like 5 years
been
ago that
so
I was going to
long.
go through a pandemic and I wasn't going to use Harry Potter as a drug of choice once, I would have been like,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
The move I did in October was like, all right, all my Harry Potter stuff is like staying behind. It's done. It's gone. I'm not engaging with it anymore. And I'm not telling everyone what to do in their own personal life, but like, it's done for me. Like obviously J.K. Rowling continues to be terrible and get terribler and terribler as it goes along. And then also you like find out what was always in the book series and you're like, oh, now it's like I can't even enjoy it because like now I know how like fucked up and racist it's been the entire time. Like, oh wow, the werewolves were a metaphor for AIDS victims and you have almost all of them like prey on children intentionally and you just like are walking around saying that. So you know, me and Harry Potter, we're donezo. We're on the outs. I think I'm done with The Boy Who Lived. Wish he died. Sorry.
I'm not quite there, but I respect your perspective and envy it in a lot of ways.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very enviable. People often talk about how they wish they were me. That it's never happened before in my entire life. Not one time has anyone be like, you got it. I'm jealous of you. It's what it is. But this is a strong. We're introduced to more of the supporting cast. White Josh shows up in this episode. Hector shows up in this episode. And we were starting to fill out the beautiful little community of West Covina. We still don't have Heather, who is the Aubrey Plaza, the aforementioned Aubrey Plaza. But we're getting there. We don't have Kevin, who works at home base. Something I forgot to mention about the pilots are always interesting to go back to once you're used to like the later episodes of a show, because you're like, oh wow, this was like a real location you filmed in, and then I just got used to like the set on the soundstage you built that kind of looks like the location you used in the pilot. Also the community study room where you go back to the pilot and you're like, oh wow, you filmed this one in like an actual library. This one, and then you kind of build something that kind of looks like it. Kind of. Hey, whatever works, make it work.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't even looking for that. What were some of the songs besides the Bollywood song in this episode?
Feeling Kinda Naughty was the only other one. It's there were only two in this. There were.
I forget that it's sort of like a Disney movie in that way, that it's like not there aren't a ton of songs. There's just like a few memorable ones.
Sometimes there are generally between 2 and 4 per episode. And sometimes they are reprises. But across 66 episodes, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend did 157 musical numbers.
That's insane.
Even counting brief reprises is impossible. Like, I cannot understand how they did that on a television production schedule alone, besides coming up with 157 songs over the course of 4 years. Fucking Lennon and McCartney didn't come up with 157 songs over the course of 4 years. It's unbelievable what they were able to pull off on no money, on a show that no one was watching. Like, it was just, it's truly incredible.
Damn. That's wild. I'm so glad that they did that for us. Thank you. I guess Glee would be the one that but they didn't, none of that was original.
Except for, like, the 1 or 2 episodes where they're like, we wrote some original songs. They're terrible, but we wrote them. They're awful. They're bad. Right, but I mean, Glee has such a mixed cultural representation or reputation nowadays. But,
Really?
for sure, I think it's mostly negative. But
There's a lot of rewatch of it during the pandemic.
for sure. There's
And
a
people
lot of
probably had negative
podcasts. It's a big
feelings.
pod business, and like, regardless of anyone's feelings about Glee, it is kind of hard to remember. Like, yeah, this was like a television sensation for a few seasons there. Like the first few seasons of Glee are like they were must see TV, and like everyone was watching them. But also like again, regardless of quality, they did like 4 musical numbers an episode. And you gotta give it up, because that's impossible. That should not have worked. They should not have been able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's no really end to this story. It's a confession. I have a crush on someone who is a assistant director for High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Hey!
And I was trying to get them to hang out with me when I was in California, and it's been revealed over the last few days more and more how unavailable they are for anything romantic. So I'm trying to shift my little gay brain into a more friend space. But they were saying I was trying to get them to like come hang out in an hour south of California where my mom lives, and they were like, like I can't that day because like the next day we're shooting something with like 80 dancers and like 2 musical numbers. I'm just like, oh my god.
It's a nightmare. I mean, like, I will not, reference the book constantly, but like, Rachel Bloom does get into like the schedule of a typical day of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and it's obscene. It's absurd, especially if you're Rachel Bloom and you're like, okay, you're the star, you're a writer, you co-write every song, you're in charge of what they call the musical numbers music videos. In that is how they refer to them, and they are also like the co-director of those. It's just absurd. It shouldn't have worked, and God help me, it shouldn't have been good. Much less existed.
Yeah, I wonder, and I will continue to wonder as we watch this, what her meaningful relationships in her life were like during this time, and if they all had to be on set. I don't know a lot about her. I know that she was pregnant.
She was
and
married
had a baby
during the entire run of the show. She was married.
Wow.
And she didn't have her kid until 2020, which is like a year after the show ends. So
that makes sense.
But obviously their marriage stayed strong enough during the production of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend that they have now had a child together.
That's so impressive to like put yourself through that just like extreme version of yourself, I'm imagining, and then like keep your personal life afloat at the same time. I mean, that is far more impressive to me than anything Joaquin Phoenix or Jared Leto could ever do in their method bullshit.
Absolutely. Goddamn right. And it's so impressive. And Joaquin Phoenix and Jared Leto are not fucking doing musical numbers in all their little movies, in all their
and they're not writing it, and they're not helming it, and they're not show running it, and they're not fucking. They don't have all their little mittens in there. They're just like, I'm an asshole on set.
I'm a jerk. I'm going to mail my condom. Rachel Bloom didn't mail any condoms to Viola Davis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rachel Bloom didn't mail any pig carcasses to Margot Robbie that we know of. That we know of.
Allegedly didn't.
Allegedly did not. And yeah, it's incredible. And the show is such a testament to her talent in all those many different fields and skill sets. And that she was able to do it all simultaneously.
What is she doing right now? I remember seeing something. Anything that I learned during the pandemic aside sort of like goo. To whatever I learned 2020.
She does a lot of voiceover. She does a lot of voiceover acting. She was like the villain in Trolls 2. Trolls World Tour. She does a lot of appearances where she must sing songs. Which is now like something she's known for. She and Aline Brosh McKenna have sold another pilot. that will star Rachel Bloom in 2 roles. So Rachel Bloom just cannot help herself. She must make things as difficult on herself as
This is
possible.
like a Toni Collette situation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
actually, when I compare houses, Rachel Bloom and Toni Collette are in the same pocket.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like it.
and
I would love
haven't
to see
seen Toni
Rachel
Collette
Bloom
do
in
2
a
musical
Hereditary.
numbers in
I've never
United
seen
States
it.
of Terra. Yeah, where was that?
Seen it. Where you at? Yeah, why isn't one of your personalities of fucking musical savant, Tara, of United
That
States
breaks
of
into a
Terra?
song
Come
and
on.
rips the whole universe open into that specific personality existing in a musical universe. That'd be kind of fun.
Rachel Bloom could do Hereditary, but Toni Collette could not do the sexy Getting Ready song. I actually bet she could. I take that back. I bet she could kill that, but she has not chosen to kill.
I don't know. I feel like this was such a. I don't know if I agree with the take that my brain just did. I was gonna be like, I don't know. Rachel's crazy is inherently comedic. Like,
yeah, I could see. I know what you mean. I could see it though. I could see her doing a horror turn. I think there could be something there. I could see her taking something like that on.
I want you to take that on, and I want you to be her Greg counterpart.
I would love that. Are you kidding me? That's my ideal. That's the platonic ideal. That is my dream project. And I let's make it happen. Let's manifest.
Yeah, let's do it. And you know what I would be, because I talk about this a lot, but this is the first time on this pod that I'm talking about it.
Rock and roll.
You know what my role would be?
I think I do, but let's hear it.
Okay, so we have at least a 3-season arc, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
3-season arc.
So I am kind of like, for lack of comparisons, I'm like the white Josh of the show in that I am very gay.
For sure,
and I exist to be hot and gay. Sure. And I have sex in the show, and right. I exist over 3 seasons. I'm hot and I'm gay, and I'm actually a sober addict. Yeah. And I don't relapse the entire course of my character. Nope. It doesn't happen. Lots of other dramatic things happen to me. Dramatic, comedic. We have highs, we have lows. There's deaths, there's breakups, whatever. But I actually don't relapse. That does not become a stupid little plot point for me.
No stupid little plots. You don't get any stupid little plots on our show.
No,
only good little plots.
maybe a few, but not.
Well, there's 3 seasons. We got to fill time.
Yeah.
And I'm picturing like 3 Gossip Girl length seasons. So we got 20 episodes to fill. We got. They're not all going to be winners. Let's go.
Yeah. What's your bottle episode for your Rachel Bloom project?
The show I don't even have like a concept for. I think we are all in a bar, which would challenge your character. That's that you could have a little runner there. And I think we decide to close down a bar with like a wild like darts tournament, and it turns into sort of a long dark night of the soul for each of us. Like the darts tournament becomes us all trying.
That was so good in Ted Lasso. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
I didn't think about that until right now, but you're right. But this would be like intense. This would be like the full. This would be Ted Lasso season 2, not Ted Lasso season 1. Do you know what I mean?
You know what my character would be doing? So I would be sort of in this like Russian doll world of it. I would be one of those characters that like keeps being there at the beginning or whatever.
Sure.
Or like I'm just like
sweet birthday baby. That would be you.
Yeah. And I actually would not be struggling with trying not to drink. More realistically, to my bar experience, I would be struggling with trying to flirt while not being able to drink with someone cute. Like trying to break the ice in a bar environment, and like that awkwardness of like trying to socialize. That is more true to my queer bar experience. It's less I want to drink right now. It's more like there's what?
That's a great runner for this bottle episode. That's a great thing we keep cutting back to. Your many trials, your many travails. I like it.
Yeah. And that speaks more to the experience. Like, we're never worried about me taking a drink. We're more like, oh, this is a reality of a sober person.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that. We love that. Just like we love, the lies sort of slowly starting to come unfurled on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend as like this delicate sort of house of cards that
Oh my God,
Josh and
Paula
Rebecca
showing
have
up.
built.
Oh, that was so good. Was that episode 1?
That's episode 1. That's at the house party. But this one
Oh.
is where, like, Josh and Rebecca quickly, they're lying about how long they've known each other, their relationship over a period of time, and that sort of falling apart. And this is like, this puts Valencia on the defense for the foreseeable future. Like, this is someone who is not to be trusted.
What do you think about, 2 thoughts. What do you think about,
Yes.
one, of course, to drive the, like, conflict forward, she has dinner with him and it's a secret, and I actually don't remember how this part unfolds either, but, like, what do you think about that in terms of
Sure.
Josh's actions? And then what do you think about Rebecca constantly killing it and being a genius at her job, and like all of those sort of like lawyer, reminds me of Succession jargon, where she just like goes like, oh, problem solved, oh, problem solved. I'm wondering like what you think of that is that just
Sure.
to make it the plot easier, like to move
Sure.
things along quicker?
Okay. So we'll confront both of these regarding Rebecca's acumen.
You're the
as a
expert
lawyer.
here.
Yeah, as someone who
You read the book.
I read the book, and earlier this month I watched the entire show in 4 days. But I think Rebecca's legal acumen is important. It does show that she has put in a lot of work, that she is not, she's not used her station to gain advantages or whatever. Like, she has put in a lot of work. I also think it's important for a character as messy as this one, a character where you're flirting with mental illness, where it could be easy to turn this character into the quote-unquote crazy ex-girlfriend, right? Really reductive sort of sense of character. Having her actually be incredibly skilled as a lawyer, having her have these, like, Don Draper moments where she just like she can just magically pull this out of her ass is important. That like she is competent, she is someone who like can be successful, has a good head, but she's in such a bad place right now that everything else in her life is really falling apart. And I think that is a key aspect of the character, is that she is gifted, she is talented, she is very intelligent despite some of her decision-making processes over the course of the show, right? What was the other question? What was the other one?
Hold on. The listeners are so annoyed right now. They're like,
they
we remember. We went back 15 seconds.
Pepper's phone remembers.
It was, the dinner with Josh at the end.
Yes. So Joshua Felix Chan is...
Yes. Full name, please.
There's something that I honestly, in my first viewing of the show, I didn't think a lot about Josh. Josh was always kind of, this plot point character. I was not as into him as basically anybody else on the show. But the rewatch really unfolds him into a more interesting character. One, I like that the show, instead of casting, like a 6-foot tall Ivy League white guy like every other show would, they cast this like very like stout, very handsome like Filipino gentleman, but like Joshua Felix Chan is not the romantic lead on any other show on television. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. I hadn't even, because I guess one, I viewed it through such a straight lens the first time, and two, I'm not really like looking at him in that way. I look at him through such a queer perspective now that I'm used to, like, I don't know, seeing. Yeah, it's great that you point that out, because I would have not remembered.
And the show, I think, kind of has that across the board. I think, like, Rachel Bloom is not the traditional star of a network show. Like, she's not at size 0.
And in fact, I was a little irritated. I was a lot irritated by the constant. I get
the kind of like Tina Fey thing where she's always like, I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm so gross.
Yeah. And like, I liked placing her like in sweatpants in the grocery store. I liked the the callback with the grocery store guy. I liked all of that. Because I relate to like this is the worst time I could be running into this person right now. Like, it happens all the time in New York, where we live, New York City. It happens all the time in the hustle and bustle.
Absolutely. And Rachel Bloom is obviously
like the fat stuff.
gorgeous. Yeah, but she's obviously gorgeous, and I think, you know, Rebecca Bunch suffers from self-esteem issues and self-image issues, as I'm sure Rachel Bloom does as well. I did just read the book, and but that was something that has always annoyed me about 30 Rock, as much as I love that show, is how much the show is like, look at this disgusting monster, and it's Tina Fey. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the most ridiculous thing. And the show leans into that a little bit, but that is an early in the show thing that it will get away from, as opposed to 30 Rock, where it would like sort of only enhance as the show went along, right? And that is good. But this show,
I want less like openly, like, you're better because you're skinny. Like, I think we are kind of done with it now in the 2020s. I think like we're seeing more like characters complaining about that culture instead of embracing that culture. Yes. But yeah, it's not fun to watch. That's not fun to watch.
No, it's not fun to watch a character be so mean to themselves, and kind of the show around them often be so mean to them. And, you know,
especially
but
in
also,
like gender specific things, like I liked what they were saying about women competing with each other, and I think it was funny that Paula was like, no, you have to be nemesis. Yeah, and the competing with each other thing, and then mixing that up with like, do I want to fuck them or be them? I thought was great, but just the inclusion of like, you're better because this,
which
and
is
it's like such like beauty standards, like such like classic beauty standards. That was frustrating.
Yeah, and it
is
like,
a good starting point for a series. But
yeah, as you know, if you are the character who's desperately trying to be with a romantic partner, and the person that person is already with is like a statuesque, you know, a traditionally perfect and beautiful sort of person, that makes a lot of sense. But as Rebecca Bunch's mental state changes over the course of the show's attitude like follows with it. You know, like, it really does, like, it has a much better perspective on bodies, even in like season 2 than it does in season 1. And I think that is honestly more attributable to the characters morphing rather than like the writers learning to like respect people or something like that. It does feel somewhat intentional if playing into traditional comedy tropes, but like non-traditional television actors are sort of like all over this show. This show is really good at like we were talking about with Vincent Rodriguez III, who again is like a wonderful dancer, a very handsome man, but not necessarily who you see on a CW show, who you see on the Archie channel, the Riverdale channel, right? And but like same goes for Rachel Bloom, or like Donalyn Champlin, or Pete Gardner, or like even Greg is not like, I mean, I find him to be a very attractive man, but he's not like CW handsome. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not what you usually get from like a network sitcom, where like a handsome person is the handsomest person you've ever seen in your entire life, whereas Santino Fontana still looks like a human being in a way that like the guy that plays like Archie on Riverdale doesn't, to me. Do you know what I mean? That is something that is across this show, and something I really love about it. And I think is very effective. But yes, there's a lot of body shaming in these early episodes, especially. But have hope, dear listener, that it will continue to change. And I think, but also, you know, they make fun of Rebecca's form a lot, but you know, at a certain point in the show, she has 3 incredibly attractive men who want nothing more than to be with her at the same time. So, like, you know, that's an interesting perspective on that as well. You know what's
another good show for that, if you like teen stuff, is it called Never Have I Ever?
I have no idea.
Am I thinking of the wrong one?
I have no idea.
Yeah, oh my God, Never Have I Ever, so good. It's this Indian girl, and she has a bunch of like there's like a Greg type who's like the nerdy type, and then there's like the hot jock type, and then she gets stuck in the middle. So unexpected because she's just this like smart girl, and then there's a gay best friend. It's fun. So if you like
Yeah.
that, but without musical numbers, that's Mindy Kaling
Hell yeah.
created it along with Lynn
Right.
Fisher, who I imagine is
Oh,
like.
you asked about Josh earlier. That was the root of the question, and I got completely
Sorry.
off track, and I am sorry about that. I just remembered that is what you asked about, was about Josh.
That's okay.
But something that unfolds in the character of Josh is, like, he is not, like, a perfect, beautiful boy. And, like, there are these, like, moments where, like, his good parts and his baser instincts are like really warring each other. Where like my read of him, yes, getting dinner with Rebecca after all of this, but doing it way out of town, it can be read in so many different ways, because obviously there's like this honorable part of him that says like, well, I said we'd go out to dinner and we're going to do it, but we do have to do it in a place where my girlfriend will never find out about it. And it makes you question, like, you know, dude, you are kind of putting yourself in a situation that could lead to you cheating on someone. Like, you realize that, right? Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, you say you have altruistic intentions, but you keep putting yourself in these situations that often lead to people cheating on their girlfriend.
I also really like that Valencia is like her best self with Rebecca, and like she's a talk girlfriend with Josh. Like when it comes to like romantic, she gets like so jealous and she's so guarded and she has such trust issues. And I do like kind of like what Rachel's exploring with like the pretty privilege of like hot girls, and like kind of I had a 15-year-old student like this who like I assigned her to do a project on beauty standards and manic pixie dream girls, because the things that she was complaining to me about was because she didn't know like how society was like putting all this stuff on her because she was like a pretty blonde girl. And I do kind of like the societal commentary of like how kind of society puts her into this space with Josh, but she's actually very pleasant and her best self when she's with Rebecca, and I like that. Like,
when she has like a genuine non-romantic connection with someone, you know, like
I don't know about non-romantic.
I guess it could be romantic.
Gay as possible.
Sure. I mean, of course, as you know, as is your God-given right. But I do have a question for you.
Sure. Oh my God, I love attention. Yeah.
This is a moment, you know. And I've not run this by you before. Are we ranking the musical numbers of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
We can do that. Sure.
Is that
That
something
was so
we're
confusing
doing?
when you did that. So Kevin's on a podcast with my former partner. That's the Community podcast, and they do the rankings. And it was always so confusing because I was always like like I would be listening in and out throughout the pandemic of like what was happening, and then there was always this like complicated part at the end where they would like rank the episode.
But now it's your turn. Now you get to be in the complicated.
Now we all together get to do this.
We get to share in this. Okay, so let me share my screen. And so you should see a Word document now.
Oh, wow. Okay,
where we will
listeners. So I'm
now-
looking at a Word document. It looks like it's made from like just your classic word processor, like Microsoft Word. And it's titled
Sure.
Document 1 because it hasn't been saved yet.
has
And
just
there's a
been opened,
title
in
that
fact.
is centered, and it says CXGF musical numbers ranked. And there's the number 1. So we're at the very beginning of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the table setting. Our listeners appreciate you painting a visual picture. So let's start at the beginning. So the
very good
automatic
place to
number
start.
1, very good place to start, I've heard. When you read, you begin with ABC, but when you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi. Do, Re, Mi. The first 3 notes just happen to be West Covina. So the automatic number 1, the table setter, the barometer by which we will now judge every other musical number over the course of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the other song in the pilot, we will not count the West Covina reprise at the end of the pilot. Reprises are dubious as to whether or not we will rank them. But so the next one is the Sexy Getting Ready song, above or below West Covina?
Okay.
Above, right?
Sure. Yeah. I guess we have to reach consensus, and there aren't three of us, so this will be spicy.
This will be fun. Sexy Getting Ready song. Okay, perfect. The next song, I'm So Good at Yoga.
That's gonna be way down there by the end of the series.
Yeah,
for me.
This is not one of my faves, and cultural appropriation aside, clever lyrics and all that, but it's not one I'm never when I'm on YouTube.com looking up Crazy Ex-Girlfriend music videos. It's almost never this one.
Yeah, I think it's
a number 3.
It. I mean, I remember liking the lyrics and thinking it was clever, and now I'm gonna be
clever.
like, oh, I wish I remembered, but no, like I don't need to. It's not a huge.
Butt stuff doesn't hurt. I am not afraid to get tattoos, and they are all in Sanskrit. Butt stuff doesn't hurt at all. Most times I prefer it. That's what this tattoo says.
That is, that I actually, I ruminated on that line for the rest of the song and just thought about my own experiences with butt stuff and when I'm finally going to do an enema and how bottoms like really do a lot of prep and what that means and like could I ever do it? So my like bottoming insecurity just kind of took over the rest of the number.
It's kind of, you bottomed out, as it were.
Exactly.
So what are we saying? Number 3 on this one?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. I'm So Good at Yoga, which brings us to Feeling Kinda Naughty Tonight.
That's my number 1 right now. Because it's gay.
It's very gay. And it's very funny, and it's making fun of Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl. No negatives here, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, all hitting
Hands
it up.
across the board, yeah.
Great. So, all right. Feeling kinda naughty. I haven't ranked since we stopped covering Community. It feels good to be back in my natural habitat. And that's it for the first epi. And 4 songs. CXGF musical numbers. Save to, we're going to save this to the desktop. That's what we're going to do. Bada bing.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom. So thar be our coverage of the first 2 episodes of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Kat, this is your time. This is your space. This is your moment. And the moment is you. Tell the people what you're up to.
Sure. I have an evil job. And sorry to my boss because he's great. And it reminds me of this in some ways. It's no one's gonna believe me. It's NFTs for Broadway, and I am the social media manager.
You weren't kidding.
And it pays rent exactly.
It does pay rent.
It pays the exact amount I need for rent. I have to hustle for the rest of cost of living right now, but it does pay rent, and it hit my PayPal today, and I didn't feel bad. It's kind of fun. I mean, I get to play with like puns, sort of like the show, in terms of like musical quippiness, and I'm learning how social media works for my own evil endeavors. And I'm learning about the strange world of crypto, in which I think so few of you are in that pocket. So I will be that bridge from that world, and it's kind of evil behavior as a theater person, but I shouldn't have led with that. I should have led that I'm an interesting content creator, that I'm in grad school for queer new media stuff, that my Instagram is at @CatScottOnline, that is no longer private because I'm no longer a school teacher, and I am always making little things. I'm writing my first TV pilot. It's about the debutante cult that I was in 2015. So that, I guess, also was the frame in which I was watching the show. I was not far away from that cult.
You're in the right. You were in an interesting headspace. And revisiting that headspace is fun. Don't we all love to revisit the year 2015?
I want to bring this like I should never compare myself to these people. I'm staring at the Fleabag, the Scriptures by Phoebe Waller-Bridge right now as I say this.
You can't
I would
compare
love
yourself to the Waller-Bridge.
I would love to bring the energy of Phoebe Waller-Bridge and of Rachel Bloom as these showrunners. I would love to have that kind of energy into the project I'm working on. So if any scrap of inspiration from them makes its way into my pages, I will be satisfied. Yeah, so I'm glad that thank you for revisiting this with me, because it's going to help my craft. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm excited to be on this Patreon adventure with you all. Why is it just Patreon? Do you think the rest of the world isn't ready?
No, that was the original intention, but we can talk about it. We can negotiate. It was mostly monthly, taking place of the Twin Peaks podcast that I was doing that is having some scheduling issues. But we can discuss. We can renegotiate.
All right, we'll sidebar off pod. I hate negotiating, and I don't need to. But whoever's listening, of Kevin's loyal followers, thanks for being on this journey with us.
This first episode is definitely free. I'll say that.
Sick.
We'll see. We'll figure out the rest of it.
I would love to see the returns on Hamill Minute.
Yeah, Patreon gives you no data. I have no idea. It's really cool. It's really great. It's honestly like kind of a peace of mind that I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe everyone's listening. I don't know. It's great. So thanks for that, Patreon. Patreon.com/TV's Kevin. Whether or not this is where you're listening to it or where no one is listening to it, well, that's the place where you can give me $1 a month to support whatever is going on here. Maybe this show is like you get previews on Patreon. You get it like a month early. Maybe that's something that happens. You never know. But we're figuring it out, and that's what we'll do. And we'll my lawyer will call your lawyer, and we'll figure it out.
However you're listening to us, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, and Advanced Media Studies is the other show that I am doing, and we're having fun, and we're having a good time.
Is that with the old crew? What are you on right now?
Yeah,
like, what are you focusing on?
As of right now, we're in the middle of Mythic Quest.
Oh wow, that's a fun one.
And we're about to round into season 2 of Mythic Quest, and then we're gonna read all the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books.
Oh my god!
Because that beat Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Media Madness, so we're reading all the Hitchhiker's books for most of the rest of the year. It'll be fun. I like those books.
Yeah, I should revisit those books as well. I also have like sort of a podcast called Archives of Showtune Sunday with Kat Scott, and those are all just like snippets of things like this, and other little like conversations, and like my old I think one of my old actual recorded Showtune Sunday that went on the radio in college is on there. So that's where like anything involving me recording my voice and talking to people exists. It's kind of like an experiment for my voice changing and kind of like hearing the differences as I've been on testosterone for 10 months. So Archives of Showtune Sunday with Kat Scott is a fun place to listen to other show tunes and musings and things with friends over the last 5-ish years.
It's the place to be.
It's the place to be, besides Kevin's content, which is bopping.
And plentiful. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have some film and video content coming up, but that takes a lot longer.
Oh yeah, we did. We did a thing.
We did a thing. And film and video, it just takes a long time if you are not getting paid full-time to do it. It just takes a long time. We're figuring it out. We're making it work, folks. It's gonna happen. Don't you worry about it. Don't you fret.
Don't cry. Please stop crying.
Please stop crying because you can't watch my short film yet. You could do it one day. Probably a year or two from now, but you can watch it. It's okay. It's alright. And this show doesn't have a sign-off, so just fucking enjoy the music that's playing. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the copyrighted music that's playing right now. Don't sue.
Don't sue. I only got 80% on the media law midterm. Fuck.
Cat can't help. Cat can't help me in my legal score. Yeah, that's the new sign off. And as always, please don't sue.
Don't sue, because I didn't get a good grade on the midterm.
Hey cutie, don't know if you knew, but I've kinda got a girl crush on you. You're everything that I wish I could be. Gonna tell you what I wanna do to you. I wanna lock you in a basement with soundproof walls and take over your identity. I wanna cut the silky hair right off your head and slurp it up like spaghetti. Wanna clone you and consume you, wanna own you and cartoon you, fly your dirty panties like high tide. 'Cause I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Sorry I said that creepy stuff out loud. That was super rando. I meant to say I wanna do cutesy stuff like pillow fight or go swimming commando. I wanna kill you and wear your skin like a dress, but then also have you see me in the dress and be like, OMG, you look so cute in my skin. I wanna lock you